Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fraser Live. I'm your host, Fraser Almeida, and I want to thank you all for joining this first ever live stream that I'm doing here on YouTube. So thank you, everybody, for joining. And for those of you maybe not familiar with YouTube, this is going to be engaging. So we're going to be able to interact with everybody. You guys can ask questions in the chat room. We'll be able to answer it, whether it's myself or for any of the guests. So it'll be fun. Nothing too structured, it's just going to be a relaxed, chill time to hang out with all of us. So today I want to talk about 2024 photography year in review, and we have some very special guests who also have the pleasure of calling my friends to come along and talk about that. And without further ado, let's just go ahead and bring them on board. So we have Mr. Sick Bedroom himself, Wayne Capili. We got Cheyenne Crawford from Atlanta, Georgia. We have Dave Cook from Salt Lake City, Utah, and Kristine Kohl from Kennewick, Washington. Hello, everybody.
Morning.
Hey. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Doing
Everybody
awesome.
had a good holiday, a good Christmas?
Very relaxing.
Yep.
Any cool presents you guys got?
Well, I got this cool shirt.
Dave's gone.
Dave, your mic just went out.
Sorry about that. I got
There
this
you
cool
go.
photo meme shirt.
Very cool. Anybody got any photography stuff for Christmas?
I upgraded all my gear this year, so Merry Christmas and happy tax write-off for me.
Wayne, didn't you get something?
What do you?
I know you got something.
Who's gonna show us?
Dun dun dun.
So my thing was with lighting, and I got a 8-inch Fresnel to put on my AD300. So this gives me very concentrated light. So when I simulate sunlight, I just put this through a wide umbrella, and I don't get the those lines that look like the sun's coming, that that it's coming from a flash. So 8-inch Fresnel.
So does that give you more parallel lines?
It gives me parallel lines because the light literally is coming up this way. So when you put it through a regular scrim, it actually fills the whole face of the scrim and gives straight light coming through the scrim. So ultimate soft light.
Okay.
Ooh,
I think you win. I think you win the prize of who got the best gift so far.
No, my real Christmas gift is Paxlovid.
Is what?
Paxlovid, because I got COVID a couple days before Christmas. So,
oh my God!
Thank God for science that I only had to be in bed for overnight. So, science was my present for Christmas this year.
Yeah, it's weird. Usually, when the weather changes for me, that's when something hits me. Like I get a cold. So far, nothing has happened this year, thank God. So hopefully, it stays that way. But yeah, that's usually the trend for me. Whenever there's a change of weather, hot to cold or cold to hot, that's whenever something hits me. So
Yeah, I'm fighting something right now. So excuse me if I cough or anything.
how's business right now with the holidays? Is it slow down for you guys?
No.
You're staying busy. Good.
Yeah.
For me, yes, and it's been really nice.
It's slowed down just because it's dark at 4:00. You know what I mean? So
Right.
we can actually be home for dinner with our families and all of the fun things like that.
Oh my God. It's funny to think like there's times when we're doing twilights, I'm done with the shoot like at 9:30 or it's like, what the hell? I remember those days. Those are like, you're out shooting all day. You have a twilight and you're thinking you're going to go home to relax, but you're like just going home to upload photos and you're going to bed or something, like that's it. It's like no time to do anything.
Yep.
I'm loving the 5:30 twilights for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a bunch of people in the chat here. Hey, Tammy, how's it going? We got, hey, David, how you guys doing out there? We got Luca, Cindy. Hey, Cindy from Virginia. Allie. We got, who else we have here? Zip Photo. I don't know who that is. But hello. Thanks for joining. Yeah, so if anybody in the chat, you guys have any questions, feel free to put it out there and we can put it up on screen for all of us to answer. So no, I will not be dancing or singing on camera today, David, but I will consider it for next time, maybe.
That dance was the best thing that was the best part of PMRE.
Oh yeah, you missed it, Kristine.
Yeah.
Oh,
stage, and I did a little dance thing number to bring out Tony and Wayne. It was pretty fun.
I'm a little jealous. I wish you would have done that while I was on stage. I would have danced with you. It would have been hilarious.
How did you guys like PMRE this year for Dave and Cheyenne?
I got a lot out of. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I cut you
No,
off?
you're good.
Well, first of all, the biggest surprise was turning around and seeing Cheyenne, because I didn't think she was coming this year. So that made the trip worthwhile. But I got a lot out of it. I think some of the workshops were great, and the commercial, the added day, really was just icing on the cake.
Awesome.
Yeah, I decided like totally last minute to come. I think the weekend before, because I just had some availability in my schedule that week. I'm really glad I did. I ended up taking Alexandria's workshop on publicity and PR, and I got a ton of value out of that. I'm really looking forward to leveraging in my business next year. And the new venue was sweet. Like, it was so awesome. I really enjoyed the new venue this year.
Yeah, I was talking to Brandon. I was telling him, because you don't know, right? Because we're all used to the old venue at South Point, but the new venue, when I walked in there, and once it was filled up, it felt right. It felt good. Like, the vibe was good. The energy was good. Everybody was enjoying it. It was really, really good. So I enjoyed that. So did anybody have any, let's say, I know we talked about what we got for Christmas and things we got this year, but any things that we regret buying this year that you bought, you maybe thinking like, hey, this was going to be something cool, and then it's like, you know what, it's not.
I can go first.
Go for it.
There's not a specific item I regret buying, but I'll tell you one of my big regrets and one of the really devastating things that happened to me this year is I basically did like Chris did, and I bought a whole new kit. Upgraded my entire kit, gimbal, lenses, camera body, everything, a good 20 grand investment. And then my car got broken into.
Oh, no.
Everything got taken. My whole kit, my fiance's whole kit. So still dealing with the insurance there, but thank God that I had insurance, like an insurance policy. If you guys don't have that are watching, like, I could not recommend more, because you never know when something devastating like that is going to happen. I had to replace my whole entire kit. So
yeah, my one of my photographers on my team a few years ago, he was and I tell them, when you go home, take your stuff inside the home, because you give them some trust in the beginning. After this lesson, they don't take their stuff home. So pretty much he parked his car outside and left his bag in the car, and he came to find out somebody broke into it and took about pretty much a full trifecta of lenses from wide to long, camera gear, every iPad, everything. So thank God, yeah, we have insurance. So if you guys are out there listening and you guys are doing this field, get insurance. You'll thank us, I promise. Anybody else?
And take pictures of all your equipment.
mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
I think who's the guy with the big afro? Photo Pro, the guy with the afro.
Fro Nose or something.
Yeah, that guy. He's got an app that you can put all your serial numbers in and track them all too, and that's a good thing to have on your phone, because you can just take the pictures, put them all in there, and then you've got a record of it. So that's.
I'm gonna need you to send me that, because that sounds awesome.
You know what I've also done with my stuff is I've gotten the air tags and I've hidden them in my camera bags just in case, because you just never know. You could be safe, and at least that's like some way in the moment to tell the police like, hey, I have them tracked, and we I don't know if they will, but at least if you want to, you can kind of see where it's at,
Where I'm at, the police wouldn't even do anything about it unless I had an air tag. Like, there were like 4 or 5 cars that got hit in the same parking lot. And the officer that did my report and everything was like, we will go chase it down if you have an air tag on it. Like, see
Really?
if you, like, exactly. Because
Wow.
we have so many break-ins in Atlanta.
Wow.
Note to self: get some air tags.
Yeah.
For sure.
They'll take action immediately on it if you can get that air tag running for them.
Anybody else for regrets on buys you got this year?
No, all my stuff was good.
So, Chris, what made you decide to? What did you have, and what did you buy that you changed everything?
Well, I finally just like I was mirrorless for video, but I was not mirrorless for photo, and so I decided just to go mirrorless all across the board. And the idea was to do, all in one, but I still decided that I am going to keep running my two kits. I am still going to run Sony for video and Nikon for photo. It works for me. It's second nature. So, yeah.
That's cool. So, look, guys, let's go ahead and jump into it. I think, ladies first, as far as 2021's photography year in review, we're going to talk about all of our favorite projects of the year, maybe our personal projects, maybe some commercial projects, whatnot. But I'm going to start with you, Kristine. So let's go ahead and jump in and let's take a look at some of your favorite stuff of 2024.
Well, all of my favorite stuff ended up being design. Now, this is kind of a unique situation, though, because the realtor hired me to do real estate of this house. And this shot happened to fall into the real estate portion of it. This was one of the parade homes this year from the Tri-Cities. And then the builder hired me to come in and shoot lifestyle and in high-end interiors. So this was the only real estate shot that made it, because I don't shoot my twilights any different than I shoot my my real estate versus design. They're the same process for me. So this was a shot that I really loved.
Is this a Jenga brick set sitting right there?
Yes, it is. They kind of dress it up for the parade so that there's some ambiance to it. I mean, not what I would have chosen, but I still like the feel of the shot.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then this is obviously the interior shot, a lot different than I would shoot it real estate. It's vertical for one, and it's cropped a lot tighter.
But it's funny you say that. I have a lot of, for the luxury real estate, they would love these type of shots all day long. I can see for core, maybe they may complain about verticals, but I think things have changed nowadays. I think verticals are in because they realize the power of the print material they use it for. So
I know, but I really had to be conscientious of the way I was shooting it, because I was charging one price for real estate and one price for interior design. So, I mean, there needs to be a visual boundary between the two and why I'm charging what I'm charging, and they need to be like completely different feels, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, I will shoot some high-end stuff during my real estate shoots for a high-end shoot, but with it being two separate shoots, two different pricing structure, it needed to feel very different, and there needed to be justification as to why. So lights are off. Like, I don't shoot lights on it when I'm shooting interiors, because for high-end interiors, because we want to see the fixtures and the finishes a little bit more so than you would for real estate bright white, see all the surfaces.
I like your cute little flame right there.
the mini flame. It wasn't very big. It really wasn't.
I love this comp, Chris. It's just wonderful. You've just filled the frame with interesting things, and there's no dead space, no nothing. It's a beautiful composition.
Thank
Did you use flash on this?
What's that?
Did you use flash on this?
Yeah, it shot through a scrim on the left side of the
bottom
frame.
right, the bottom left.
Yeah. No, it's actually far right. I just happened to be angled that way. It's one light setup and shot multiple ways. So that's what I really love about shooting through silks now. That was one integral, change that I made this year when I was shooting my high-end interiors, is I just love the way the silks feel and the ability to move around within a shot and not have to relight it.
How big of a silk do you like using?
It's an 8x8.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Actually, what I do like about this shot is the light inside the hallway at the other end. It really that pulls me through the space and lets me know that there's something welcoming back there.
I did light that.
I know, but that's what I mean. It's like a lot of times, especially these kind of things, lots of people won't light it, and that always feels like whenever it's not lit, just even subtly, that's like, I don't want you to be there. There's something. It's like this is a beautiful space, but just beyond if that was dark, it would hint that there's something sinister there. That actually is very welcoming.
Yeah.
the candles being lit make me really happy too. It's just like those little extra details. How did you get the fire so nice and neat right there, Chris? Because like I find that these glass fireplaces, or I can't tell, that doesn't look like glass. That looks like it's like got a screen.
No, it is. It is glass, but it's actually brought in from the flame in that fireplace is almost non-existent. It's so small. And so there's an exterior fireplace on the outside in the fire pit area. Not in the fire pit, but they have like an outdoor fireplace. And it's just, I took that flame and put it on the inside.
Nice.
I literally have a gallery of fireplaces, fire from fireplaces that I use for my commercial shoots. So anytime you guys get good flames, I'm getting a 1 point, a 45 degree, an opposite 45 degree, a 90 degree, because I can put those in on any shot. If it's a gas flame, if it's a small flame, that's very horizontal, or if it's like the big, huge wood burning ones, like when I get good flames, it's like skies. I get shots for it, so I can use it on my commercial stuff or real estate as well.
You should sell that gallery.
Yeah, I got a bunch. I remember I gave Tony. He's like, "Hey, can I have that flame?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. Here you go."
Yeah, I do not only flames and skies, but I also do grass areas.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good idea.
Concrete and blacktop. And
the front of the drive, not the street itself in front of a house. Sometimes when I get clean black streets, sometimes I'll use that when I'm doing like more higher end stuff to replace, like, because sometimes you come into a shoot and it's just got done with construction, so you got all the dirt lines in the road and stuff. So just changing out the street for the commercial stuff, having that like kind of like a sky or a flame helps as well.
Yeah.
Have you ever forgot to blow out a candle?
No.
Oh, I'm in love. This is beautiful.
So gorgeous.
That is.
Thank you.
Wow.
Again, it's that silk. And the other thing that I have really, really, really enjoyed doing this year is lifestyle, and being able to have both the composition and then to bring whoever the agent, the builder, the designer into the shot and make it more personable. And where I have a commercial photography degree that is, portrait fashion, like this really like is kind of my niche now. Like it's my jam. I just love it so much.
Yeah, I love this.
One like scrim shot. Like what are like no.
Yeah.
No.
But
Okay.
that's all. Besides the hallway is subtly lit because I don't like black holes or like the bane of my existence like Wayne. But it's just one big silk with one light. That's it.
You should get one of these.
I know. That's why I was like, when you showed it to me, I'm like, oh, Happy New Year to Chris. That's what she's gonna get.
So
It's
can you
a
tell us a
hundred.
little bit? Sorry, Wayne.
Go ahead.
Can you tell us a little bit about your editing approach to this? Like, I would be fascinated to see the raw file versus your final, but anything that jumps out to you, like 2 or 3 tips on how to make this kind of image pop other than, the big silk.
Well, okay, I lied. I did light her. You know what I mean? So there is a and I brushed her into the image. So that way you could, honestly, Cheyenne, it's the silk and it's more or less straight out of camera.
Yeah.
And that's really the beauty of shooting this way.
Camera.
Yeah, it's really not much adjusting. And so the editing process becomes very, very minimal. It's just like, pulling up the shadows just a little bit, or, finessing little things within the scene. It's just a totally different way that I've ever shot before. And I am really loving it.
I'm going to have to give this a shot next year. Like, I'm going to really have to practice this method because I love it. It looks so good.
It takes more time on site, but then you can actually once you have everything dialed in, you can actually take your camera off tripod and start doing detail shots. And it's one shot. It's done.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, yeah. Once you, it's kind of like Wayne talks about light farming. Once you already have it set up, you have that direction coming in. You can just get different compositions with that same directionality of light coming in, and go to town with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that exposure is the same all over the place. So
Yeah.
What's the flash you're using, Chris?
What's that?
What's the flash you're using?
I think this was the the 600. I put the big guy on when I shoot through the silks just because I want to make sure I have enough power. Not necessarily in need of it always, but it's just my process. I put it on the C-stand.
And it just fell off that gradually. That is so beautiful. I've been trying all year to do things like that. And
I'm telling you, get a silk and start shooting through the silk. It is just game changer.
I'm on B&H right now.
Go to Westcott.
Westcott? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, same.
And an 8x8?
Yep. And then you can get the bits that make the full square, or I only just have one. So it Velcros to the top, and then I just clamp it to a stand and raise it. Like it just flops around.
You're doing the Scrim Jam?
Yeah.
No.
Dave, Wayne, I have a question from the chat from Doug. What is scrim lighting? I'll let you answer that.
No, actually, no. Let Chris do it.
Okay, Chris, why don't you answer that for Doug? What is scrim lighting?
Okay, so it is a big silk, and it's translucent. I don't know if you've ever seen a softbox, but it's that same material that's like on the face of the softbox. So this one is 8 foot by 8 foot. So it's huge. Well, it's not massive, but it's fairly large. And I just put that on a C-stand or a light stand, and I raise it up to wherever I need it to be. I usually try to raise it to the ceiling, or at least to where the bottom of the silk hits the floor and wherever the top may end up. And then I will put my light on the other side and shoot through it like it's shooting through a window. But this creates really soft light, and it looks like soft window light to me.
It is soft window light.
Yeah.
To Cindy, what I'll do is after the video is done, I'll get the information and I'll put it in the description, so you can go back to the video once it's done, and I'll have the link in there for you guys to see.
And full disclosure, so most of you guys know Tacey Youngman. Tacey Youngman took Stephen Carlish's workshop this year, and I said, okay, come teach me. And so this is all information that is within Stephen Carlish's workshop. This is how he teaches. Well, one of the methods that he teaches. And so I just kind of was lucky enough to have a friend who taught me what she learned.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You owe her a good dinner.
Yeah, I do. I owe her a lot of things. She's my work wife.
All right, let's get going here.
Okay, same house. This one's lit a little bit differently because hard shadowed light is my jam. I just love the way that it feels like a crisp, sunny day. So there is a light stand outside with my 600 on, blaring in. And then if you actually look at the top where the light fixture is, there is a soft rim light on that. So there is a soft box with a scrim on the inside too, to get that as well. But I just really love the feel of this one. Again, this was shot for, high-end interiors versus the real estate shots. So they feel very different.
Now, the only thing that I would have to, I love this shot, but one of the things about using flash to simulate sunlight is if you look at the shadow on the left-hand side, if you take a look at where the angle of the flash is going, and if you take a look at the bottom part where the shadows are going, if you took those shadows and drew a line, it actually makes a point of where the light source is coming from. So that's inverse square flash. That's how we know that on some particular shots like this that it was done with flash.
It's okay. I still love it.
No, it's still a good shot. An easy fix you could do though to make it more believable is maybe, like, I don't think as much the stuff on the counters, but the line of light coming on the left side with the pot plant, I would have maybe gotten another frame if possible and angled it down further so it doesn't look like the light's coming from underneath the house. It's coming from the top, above, like actually the sun's coming. Or if you could maybe even just Photoshop and blend in at hard edge, a softened hard edge, so it looks like that it's an actual light coming in from the top, kind of like how you have this angle of light here on these windows. You see that direction versus this direction here on the left. So to try to keep that looking similar, that's the only thing I would try to do different. But it's a good shot.
Or puppet warp.
What's that?
What?
Or puppet warp.
Puppet
Oh,
warp.
yeah, you could do that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oof.
And this one just, was not one that they asked me to do, but when I saw this space, I was like, this is what I want to do. The only thing that's in there is a strip light with the grid.
Wow.
Your lights inside the bathroom?
Yep. That is a black hole. There is not a window in there.
Mm.
That's it's really good simulated window.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. But I mean, there's two things that I really love that I really started working with this year. One is Scrims, and I love my strip light with a grid on it in my softbox. It is just the simulated light that it gives me. I decided that I really like actual intentional lighting. Like I don't necessarily want to brush it all out. Like I like flash. And so I'm just kind of embracing that this year.
Now, what size grid are you using on the strip light? Is it the wide grid, or did you get one of the ones that are smaller?
I don't know. It's like the egg crate grid that you can buy to put on the softbox.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, go back? The thing about the staircase. Did you want to keep it that dark?
Yeah, because I wanted the subject to really scream. That's where I wanted you to look. I don't really give a crap about the staircase. Honestly, I have it in the real estate shots. Like this was about the powder bath.
Okay.
All right. So that one was for your first one. Let's go to your next one.
This is going to be really long, you guys.
No, this is great. This is great.
How many pictures I'll take?
Time limit. We're good.
This is with one of my first interior designer that I picked up that I've been working for a number of years. Had this project this year, and we're going to go and do the master bedroom and the master bathroom and the powder bathroom next month, which I'm super excited about. But again, this was the Scrim.
Yeah.
Right side of the frame.
It's funny. Once something works, I mean, it's like you can apply it to so many different things.
Yeah. Yep. Next image is just another frame of the same light setup.
So you didn't move your Scrim. You kept it the same. You just find a different position.
Yep.
Perfect. So makes it so much easier.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh,
Same.
wowza.
This is your 8-foot Scrim?
Yep.
Nice. So question, the light coming on the bottom of the stools, is that a different direction of light? Where's that?
Yeah, I actually had two lights that were firing through that. So there was one that was, basically parallel to the island, and then there was one slightly up into, how do I say this? Like it was up in this area that was but it was still being fired through the Scrim.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
two different light sources.
Is your Scrim on the outside or the inside?
This one's on the inside.
Okay.
The others were on the outside.
Yeah,
Because there was no room.
that's kind of important for people to understand when you're doing lights this size, with the position where the Scrim is.
Yeah. This one was done with an octabox with a grid. No Scrim.
Nice. I just love the softness of the light, the shadows. It's very nice. You definitely have started developing. Not started. You have a style.
I feel like this year was the year I kind of found my voice and kind of honed in on what I loved rather than experimenting with what I've been taught. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So this is your last set.
Aww.
So this was another design shoot. This is my web designer's dog. That's Hank. Yeah, same setup. Scrim. Love it.
I have a question for you from Cindy.
Okay.
So for just one shot and good to go in camera?
Well, this one, I kind of have a paralyzing fear of not having brackets. So I will go through and bracket an ambient shot just in case I decide I might need it later. But honestly, this was basically one Scrim shot and then obviously multiple shots of the dog and just putting in what I wanted to put in of him.
Here's another question. Maybe this can apply to everybody. Are you not worried about simulating a light of a window if the window doesn't exist?
For me, no, not with these kind of shoots, because this is the narrative that I want to illustrate. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not selling the house. I'm selling the design of the house.
Correct. Yeah, I would say you will have to worry about that more on the real estate side of things, because you don't want to false represent that there's a light when there is no window. On the designer stuff, I do it all day long, where I'll make my own light. I do whatever needs to be done to make my composition the best, whether it's simulating light or whatnot. For those type of clientele, they don't really care about whether there's accuracy of the justification of light. Maybe an architect might actually, an architect probably will care more because they built the property for light in consideration. But for real estate, I think that's mainly the only place where that's something you'd have to be careful about.
Yeah.
Now, how many frames of the dog did you take, or was this all in one shot?
Oh, there's probably about 15. He's pretty wiggly. And so I just found the best one and I put him in.
That's the cool thing about once you got the composition, then you just keep firing until you get the one that you want.
Well, I mean, and technically, like, the owners are blocking the table and I can just brush him in. That's the power of, you shoot your shot and then you shoot your model and you can put it together in post.
Yeah.
This one is an octabox with a grid on it, and then there is a flash in the pantry. But I love the feel of this shot.
Now, I just have one question. My eye stays with that bouquet. It doesn't let me go around. Is that intentional, or like was that a designer asking you to do that?
It was designer asking me to do that, and anybody who knows me kind of knows I have a thing for flowers. Like a small thing, well, no, a really large thing, and I just have always wanted to do a sink shot with flowers, and so to me, that's magical.
Cool.
I like the focus fall off on that bouquet though. Like towards the edge, you definitely have the softness there. Like I can tell the focus is that where the faucet kind of meets that built-in, the built-in right there. So I love it.
Yeah. This one, again, softbox with a grid, an octabox with a grid. Just to kind of fill in. Technically, I probably could have shot this completely ambient, but again, I like curated light. I like the way it feels, and it just kind of adds a little bit of a snap that you can't get without a flash.
Absolutely. If you would have shot this with ambient light, it wouldn't look like this. The fall off would be much more gradual. It wouldn't have that life to it that this has because of the flash.
Yeah.
And also with the ambient, depending on what's outside the window, there's trees and whatnot. You got that color cast coming into the scene as well. So with the flash, you have a lot more control for many different things.
Mm-hmm. Now this guy is hard flash out the window. Single shot. Yeah.
How high up did you have your flash?
Really high.
Yeah. Well, I mean, basically to the top of the window. Yeah.
Nice.
And then flash from the outside.
Now, the thing that I really liked about this shot is when we were Fraser looking at this, we were kind of talking about the size of the book. Because
do you see the size of the desk? She's so tiny.
I know.
No, that's what I mean. The really cool thing about this and the way you shot it is it really gives really good scale to the room. I mean, really what happens is when you shoot with wide angle lenses, you really can't tell the size of the room, but the way you shot this, all the elements here have really great proper lighting and scale. So it's a really nice shot.
The shadow on the sconce or whatever you would call that there is amazing too. Like it adds so much visual interest right there because it's like a direct mirror from the side almost of it.
I have David asking, what size octabox?
I'm going to have to get back to you on that. I don't remember what I have.
And then we have one from Marietta. What camera brand did you shoot with?
This is on the Nikon. This is the D810. This was before I transformed over into mirrorless, into the Nikon D. What is it? The Z9, Z8, Z9.
All right, so that is it for your photos. Thank you again. Let's do Dave. How about that?
Forgive me, Dave. I'm going to use the restroom real quick, y'all.
I've had a couple of bathrooms where they were just black. And one I remember doing where they said, it's Venetian plaster, and I want to get all the intricacies and the feel of that. And so for me here, what I was trying to do was get some of that feel and some of that light. Completely enclosed bathroom, so there's no windows or anything, and obviously flash.
What are you shooting with? I'm sorry, this is really pretty, Dave.
Thank you. Z7 II.
No. What was your flash? I'm sorry.
I think I used two AD200s, and my typical setup when I use those is the Magmod sphere on top.
Okay.
Because I really like the way that kind of lets light fall off depending on how you tilt it. The thickness of the plastic varies, so you get different amounts of diffusion or hardness depending on how you tilt it. And so I just play around with things. So obviously I had something on the upper right, and then there's a shower off to the left. This is a bathroom in an outdoor pool cabana. And
wow.
Yeah,
This
really
pool
cool.
house.
One thing, if you really wanted to get this looking good, the only thing that bugs me is the distortion of the mirror image. What I would have done is taking another shot looking towards that wall and just Photoshop it into that mirror, so you don't get that funky distortion, with the skewed lines and stuff.
Yeah.
But good shot.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It came out a lot better than I thought it was going to. And this is some of the outdoor area of that same pool house. The wood is actually burnt. It's not painted black, it's burnt.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And
what are you shooting with on this?
Camera or flash?
A focal length.
I honestly, I don't remember. I'm guessing a 24-70. And I would have backed up and zoomed in a lot, probably in the 35-50 area, I would think.
Yeah, I like the direction of light also coming into here. Is this all ambient, or did you use some flash?
Oh, there's definitely flash, yeah. I don't think I augmented the flash coming in the door because it was so strong and I didn't need to. But I put a little bit of fill in because, again, I was afraid of that black just going completely black. And I wanted to, if you look on the extreme left, you can see where it's burnt. And so I was putting light in at a strong angle so that would stand out.
But I like that you didn't lose the directionality, meaning like on that right side couch and that little like stand right there, you get the shape, the 3D shape, and that's because of the light coming in from the right side, right? Like if you had lit this too much, you could have killed that and overpowered that, and the ratio of light would have been, it wouldn't have worked. But I think you kept it just enough, and it looks good.
Thank you. I was channeling my inner Christine. And I fell in love with that pizza paddle, and I just had to do something with that pizza paddle. And so I just worked this shot out around that. And I think we played for 10 minutes getting the angle of that just right. There's a big open area just outside of frame on the left side, and that's lighting everything. And I'm guessing I probably didn't light this at all.
I'm curious. I'm noticing, at least on my screen, there's like splotches of like really out of focus areas, and then it'll be like a little bit sharp. Is that like a camera thing, or did you do like, see here on this left side, it's like really out of focus, and then in the middle here, the wood is like in focus? Is that like were you trying to cover something up, or it's just kind of interesting how that happened?
No, I wasn't, and I had not even recognized that I didn't even mess with that wood area at all. I wonder if that has something to do with post processing or
Huh.
something like that. About the only thing, I think I cut the fire in, and the fire would have been the fire from there, but just a different exposure where the fire looked better and put it in. And then this is the outside of it. And I mean, 3 fireplaces. They've got the big one outside, the pizza oven, and then the one inside. And it just was a gorgeous place. And again, this is filled in with a lot of 8200s.
So you lit the wall, the wall on the right, on the left side?
On the left side?
The higher wall?
No, I don't think I did. I would have lit the chairs and the dining area, and then I definitely lit the interior.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah, the interior being lit up is nice.
Again, this is channeling my inner Christine. and like you, I just saw this shot and I just went, I mean, I was just doing my walkthrough and I saw this and I went, oh man, that is such a great shot. And again, I don't think this is lit. I think this just happened. You'll see when we go into the kitchen that it just had just giant windows.
I like that you didn't overdo the window pull. You know, that looks like a believable window intensity. Like, you know, some people obviously, you know, in real estate, they overdo it. I like that. It looks real. Like, it looks like, of course, that's how bright it should be.
I love your comps, Dave. Like, your compositions to me are so creative and just different. Like, definitely different than what I would have done. The only thing I see here that like bothers me is that edge of the painting. And I think you could just generative fill that out and just show that shiplap right there. But that's just a stylistic choice I would do.
Is this shot for real estate or is this shot for interior?
It's for real estate.
Okay.
It was an all-day shoot. We did video and stuff like that here too. And, you know, I was just trying to get some really good shots in.
The only other thing I would have, and maybe you did, it kind of is confusing, the lines of these chairs down here. Mm-hmm. You see the edges of the the wood area of the chairs. Like, did you ever mess with maybe seeing how it would have looked like if you just had them straight on, so it's not so weird, the jagged lines that are coming in like diagonal?
No, I didn't look at that at all.
It's very minor. Something I just noticed.
It might be a matter of just pulling those out, like further out might give that separation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But nice shot. I like the directionality. Same kitchen?
Same kitchen, yep. And I moved the flowers around a lot, but this just to me excited me so much because it had such beautiful light, and what I wanted to capture was that light coming in. And Fraser, like you said earlier, I didn't want a strong window pull. I wanted that early morning sunny day sort of feel. Mm-hmm. And that's really what I was trying for here.
And look, you have enough detail. You could see the mountains clearly, right? You don't need it to be so dark that it's not believable. This is great.
Well, the thing that cements this for me is the really brightness in the sink, because it's actually very bright, and the way the sunlight ignites the inside of the sink, that lets me know how bright it really is outside the windows, and it just good control. It anchors me out and gets me out the window. I like it.
Cool. The only thing I wish you would have done, because I really do like the shot, is my eye is just sucked right into all of the paraphernalia that's on the counter by the sink. Like that's where I go to. Like, I can't like not see it. Had it not been there, I think my eye would have moved around a little bit more within the frame.
I think that's a really good comment. That and this, I hate little plugs like right there in the front.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you're shooting, that's why I asked. If you're shooting this for real estate, it's a necessary thing, right? Yeah. But if you're shooting this for your portfolio, take all that garbage out. Like, that's the beauty of, you know, after you deliver, if you really love it, Okay, all my switchers are gone. All of my, but I can't even see it because it's so small on my screen. But there's a yellow tube of, I'm assuming it's probably pasta. That's where my eye goes. And then everything else is secondary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's lovely.
Yeah, that stove just, every place I turned around in here, it was just, I thought, beautifully set up. It's when Fraser asked for one of your most exciting shoots of the year, this was one where every time I turned around, every place I looked, I just went, squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. I got to shoot that. And it was, again, a race against time to get that light while it was still in that room, because it was heading away.
When Wayne's favorite thing is, if the light's good, shoot it. Don't wait, shoot it.
Yep. And that's the
lovely
final one, the dining room there.
Beautiful directionality. I like that. I like how there you can see the darkness on the right side of the chairs. It's really, really nice.
Well, like I said, I was trying to do what Kristine, was talking about, has actually been doing, where you see that light gradually fade across. And that's been something I've been working on all year. So I've been really trying to get, and a lot of times what I'll do is I'll take a higher exposure and a lower exposure, and put those together to try and emphasize that light to dark.
Mm-hmm.
And I may have done that a lot here. But Kristine's Scrim has got me all excited. I've got it up on Amazon right now.
Amazon's going to get a lot of Scrim orders.
I'm telling you guys, once you start doing it and you figure it out, it's a game changer. It is a soft, beautiful, natural light that you're just like, it's wonderful.
Oh, well, one of the things though, the thing with the Scrim, something that I noticed about what Kristine was saying, don't forget to actually start implementing direct flash into the shot too.
Yeah.
So this is lovely, Dave.
Thank you.
I think this one's got to be my favorite.
Yeah, it was.
What aperture were you at?
This was an 85 at 1.8.
I figure 1.8. That looked about right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I
like that you're not afraid to use your f-stops, even though you say f8. But I like that you're actually, experimenting with a wider f-stop.
Oh yeah.
So now let's get into your other fun stuff that you like to do.
Yes, this was. You'll see it coming up. There's a cool story involved in this, but this was just a lot of fun. This was a global, I think 8,000 or 9,000, and it's stationed in Madrid. And I tried to get them to fly me to Madrid to shoot it, but they actually flew it here, and so I didn't have any fun.
Don't you hate when that happens?
Yeah, I do. But it was a lot of fun. We had, I think, a crew of about 4 or 5 people. We had a mechanic, the pilot, somebody that was dressing everything for us. And what I really like to do here is I like those windows on the verge of burnout, just be on the verge of burnout. And then it is flash lit. And then things like the interior lighting, I end up faking and doing myself because they just don't look good when you shoot them.
Mm.
Wow.
That's an 85 f1.8 where I just saw it and I went, ooh, I just like the feel of that.
Yeah, I like that. I hate to be anal, but I hate these little things right here. Especially if you're that close on the detail shot.
Yeah,
I would have tried to Photoshop the little like hairs or whatever that is.
Okay.
But good directionality. I like that. Nice little moment.
Yeah.
That's natural light though, right, Dave?
Yes. Okay, this was the story I wanted to tell you. We were shooting this and things were going along really, really good. But we just weren't getting anything that we thought was anything that really made it for us. And I turned around and I said to one of the people, well, why don't we get sushi? And they said, well, how would we do that? And I said, DoorDash. So we called DoorDash, had sushi delivered to the plane, and then dressed it for this shot. And to me, this is really gets the personality of what this plane was about. And I really like that this is a picture that we crafted and we made rather than just took advantage of what we had when we got there.
Are you at 1.8 on this as well?
Possibly 2, maybe 2.2. It would have been down there, but I don't always go all the way to 1.8 because I think you need to close it down a little bit to get a little bit extra sharpness.
Yeah.
And I would have wanted all of the sushi in focus, but we definitely looked at it and set the aperture in Cam Ranger and then shot it for what we wanted. And then this happened. This is real. This is,
wow.
You know, when you have a day like that, you know, you just thank, you know, your lucky stars.
Now, did you have your camera set, or were you walking away from the plane and looked around and went, "Oh yeah, I should take that"?
I was going to shoot sunsets no matter what, and it is a couple of different exposures. I think the airplane I actually cut in at like 2/3 of a stop hotter than the background. But yeah, that's essentially 2 frames put together, no lighting, no nothing.
Can I ask why you didn't put the other tip of the plane in the shot?
Because it wasn't necessary.
Okay. I just feel like it. I feel like I get like my eye's still going. It doesn't stop me within the frame. Is my only critique on that. I mean, I think it's lovely.
Psychologically, I like that though. Like for a private jet, like the fact that it's just like it just keeps going. I don't know. Even when you say that, it makes me think like it sells the travel thing. And then I love the vignette, like the really heavy vignette at the bottom. And I could just see this being like the first hero picture on the charter website. Like it would compose so beautifully with like text across the bottom.
Oh yeah, you've got plenty of room for anything they wanted to add for advertisement.
Got like a postcard vibe.
Well,
Yeah.
one thing to if he did showed the full length of that wing, this would be a much more smaller plane because it just to get that full width, it would just make the image smaller. Dave, do you mind if I do something real quick?
No, please. Yeah.
I just want to see something. Let me try something.
Well, and I just wanted to throw out too that, you know, the composition lines I thought worked really good just the way it was.
I just want to see, because to me, I don't like so much of the floor. I feel like using the...
Oh, that's better. But he may need that for purposes for advertising though. So that's the beauty of having it shot that way.
Right. I'm just playing with... I
Yeah,
want to
you know what?
Do a little bit of... let's see here.
See, that feels better to me already.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, I think there with the bottom third on the wheels. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That sunset is insane.
It's pretty crazy, Dave.
Yeah. Sometimes you just, you know, sometimes somebody's looking down on you and smiling.
Yeah, gorgeous. All right.
All right, that's my favorite, hands down.
The bathroom.
All right, so Mr.
Oh, it's sexy.
Mr. Sick Bedroom is next. Let's go with Wayne.
Yes.
Why is this image so small? Did you give me like small images, Wayne? What the heck?
You didn't preview these?
Wayne didn't understand the assignment.
Oh my goodness, Wayne. Hold on.
You know what? No. You know what, Fraser? Everything's fine. Let's do Cheyenne's. I'm totally good.
Why are these so small?
Huh.
Wait, isn't there a way I can make these bigger in here?
Can you just press space and go full screen?
I mean, yeah, I can go full screen, but that's it. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay, that's better. Let's go back to the first one. Okay.
Okay. So, in April, a road washed out to Big Sur, and you could not get past a certain point in Carmel. So Big Sur was literally cut off from the rest of the country, and this particular compound went on sale, and they actually said, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to let people go down the coast, but you have to be there at 5 o'clock in the morning, and then we're going to open up to come back at later on in the day, which meant that the clue was they said, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to send you down there at 5 o'clock in the morning. You're going to spend the night at this place, shoot, and that's how. So it's a 2 day. It ended up being a 2-day shoot, and again, this is like 30 miles down the coast, and this has like 7 or 8 smaller homes on this particular property, and I was thrilled. I'm like, this is how I go. Yeah, that sounds really good. So I heard my wife say the same information, that we have to spend the night and we have to be in Big Sur overnight. Except when she was telling her friends, she kept putting the word trapped in Big Sur overnight. And I'm like, no, this is going to be a really fun shoot. And she goes, no, we're going to be trapped down the coast. And I go, okay, so this is the perception of what we consider when we do shoots as fun. So this is Bowens, Sur, and just a mile down the road from here is really the hard stop that you can't get past on Highway 1 anymore. So as we kept driving, they have those signs going road ends, and literally there was the big barrier just beyond the road that this house and this property is. And this is Bowens, Sur, and this is a $24 million property. Wow. Literally on the coast. And it was fun because, well, I got to spend a couple of days here, and it was like, okay, since you're here, do whatever you want to do. So I got to fly around and have the coastline to myself for a couple of days, and this is what it was.
Nice. Oops.
So this is the inside of Bowens, Sur. So when we talk about scrims, if you look at the ceiling, they actually had sails covering making the skylights. So if anybody wants to know what a scrim looks like, that's what a scrim looks like. It really is just cloth that lets the available light or direct light from a flash or sunlight, and it just gives you beautiful light underneath it, because it gives directionality, contrast, and color. And all so all I needed to do was just take the picture.
Built-in house with its own scrim. That's so cool.
Built-in house with that. And so what happens here is, I wanted to, being that the windows are relatively small for the kitchen, I waited till dusk, and I did this with a tilt shift lens shifted left and right to show the width and the breadth of this particular space.
Did you like this?
There's flash underneath some of the tables where it was dark from the light, because there was a lot of contrast because of the lights overhead. This is basically overhead lighting. So yeah, I did kind of go in with a strobe with an umbrella and kind of bring in some of the detail in the darker areas. And this one, this is one of those houses, and I tell people that, when you go to houses, you really have to look at your client and go, we are doing dusk shots with this, right? And as I did this, I said, yeah, we definitely need to do this. This house was meant for corporate retreats, and they decided, and after they finished it, COVID hit, and then they're like, oh, well, we probably can't do that anymore. But this is a house in kind of in Carmel over the mountains, so it's pretty far away from the ocean. And go ahead. And this is what it looks like.
Yeah.
This is what it looks like at dusk. Again, you have to tell your clients we are going to do a dusk shot, right? And Go to the next one.
I would have photoshopped that car out, Wayne.
Oh yeah, on the ones that I delivered, I did Photoshop the. Oh, okay. Here's the thing about houses like this, that where they are, they're in the middle of a field, or they're in the middle of a mountain range, or these kind of things. And one of the things that freaks me out are the animals that are coming out at the dark. So I always, so when I'm doing these kind of shots, I always have somebody around me to make sure that some animal doesn't come running out of the bush.
So what you're saying is you have your wife to block if a bear comes at you, right? Is that what's happening here?
No. She actually is standing in a place that'll tap me, going, by the way, you may want to run. But
I would love to see that.
But yeah, so this was just really one of the fun shoots of the year, because, again, we started shooting it, and they just said, okay, do whatever you want to do, and you have this space for the next couple of days.
Is that a guest house on the left, or is that all part of the house?
That's the garage on the left.
Oh, that's the garage. Is that connected to the house?
Nope. From the other side, that's across the courtyard. So, that's...
Man, it's a gorgeous place.
Crazy.
Again, just...
Love that.
How can you not shoot anything bad here? It's...
if you don't know how to expose. Yeah, and that's actually one of the things, is that when I'm doing dusk shots, we do have to kind of know what time the sun is going to go down, to make sure that the glass of the house isn't glazed. So, if this glass was heavily glazed, I couldn't easily have shot this at this particular time, because you would have had to wait longer, the later part, to make sure that there's glow. So you have to take those kind of things into consideration if you're going to integrate the sky and the ambient light with the interior.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Go back. Okay, look at this. See this frame? Now, there's, when we do drone shots, when we take our license, we always have that thing in the back of our heads that we should always know what's going on. And go to the next one. So see how you can, you can go all the way down this kind of hallway. And it's like, I have to stop myself from going, as I'm flying, going, I could fly the drone through this. I have to stop. As you're taking pictures, I literally have to stop myself to not do stupid things with the drone. As you're up there, you just sit there and go, yeah, I could make it. I could do that. So that's what Patty's there for. And she's like, don't do it. You can't.
I love doing stupid things with the drone. Wow.
So this one I shot just a couple of weeks ago. And again, I had the choice when I did the kind of like the walkthrough of this. I said, I needed to shoot this at night. This is not a day shot at all. Not only for the exterior, but for the interiors, because the windows are so high, and outside of it is kind of forest. So I would have had, if I would have shot this during the day, I would have been fighting those sparkly lights and in the forest. And also when it's bright outside, and especially when it's sunny, with forest around houses like this, the forest tends to go black because of the contrast and the color of the light. So green will go black. So I needed to shoot this at dusk for the interiors and the exteriors.
I could be sick in that pool.
I could be sick in that pool too.
Yeah.
And again, this is just, we because of how fast sunsets go, I shot the interiors, and I knew that I needed to be out doing the exteriors at 4 4 o'clock to start doing the exteriors. And I actually did use strobes inside here to even up the ceiling and the foreground.
What trigger system are you using for your strobes?
Just the Godox, whatever.
Godox?
The Flashpoint ones.
Nice.
But I am using AD100s.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm using one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got one because you said to. And
they're the best strobes.
They really are. When you're shooting a room, and like so many of these pictures, when you've got that hallway behind or something, it's beautiful for putting back in there and opening up that back room. Yeah.
Actually, Fraser, go back to the other one. So you see the high ceilings as it comes down. If you ever remember these kind of houses, especially with the lights so low in the picture, those ceilings normally go very dark because the light just really lighting the lower part of the frame. So I actually had 2 AD100s on the ground, literally just lighting the ceiling. So the ceiling looks like it's being lit from the lights underneath.
Wayne, I have a question from the chat for you.
Okay.
How did you edit the sky?
I just used the sky replacement and put it with this, I just used a simple sky replacement that goes from that orange to blue to give a little bit of light to the clouds that were there.
Nice. Well, let me get it. There we go.
So my thing this year is I've pretty much stopped using zoom lenses, and I'm just using tilt shift lenses now. And essentially, I'm just using a 15 millimeter tilt shift lens and a 35 millimeter tilt shift lens. And one of the reasons why I found out, because the size of the houses that I shoot, although they're really, really big, what I've been finding out and looking at it is I have a lot of width of it, and that's not the problem with shooting with the wide angle lens. But what happens is I wasn't showing the height and the breadth of the buildings, which means that I need to shoot with a tilt shift lens. So my thing is, especially with the properties that I shoot, that really the things that give houses their more personalities to actually show more volume of the room, and the way to show more volume in the room is to shoot up, which you can't do with a zoom lens. You cannot, because this is with a 15 millimeter shift lens, and it still wouldn't have showed that much ceiling. So I'm just using a 15 and shifting up, being able to show the breadth and height of the room.
Nice. All right,
okay.
So that's all of Wayne's. And I guess I'm the last one.
No,
Cheyenne.
Oh shit, Cheyenne. Sorry.
Oh, dang.
Here we go.
Thank you for being with us.
I got so many, so I'm gonna try to go through this pretty quickly.
I know you have a bunch, but if you want to stop on one, then we can stop on them.
Yeah. So this one, it was really hard to pick 3 this year because I had a lot of cool houses this year, thankfully. But this was one of my big projects for the year. We spent a couple of full days, and I do video as well. So we did photo, video, drone, twilight, time lapses, 3D, like Matterport on this. So
was this a real estate
property? What?
Was this for real estate?
Yes, but this agent is fun because he actually hires somebody else for real estate photography. And then he has me come behind that real estate photographer to just do my thing, be my most creative, document the property how I like, do a little more design and architecture focused shots because he likes more editorial, and he typically pushes my photos to any editorials. So this one was featured in a few magazines. I can't remember which. It's called Perrin Place. This is spec build, about 12,000 square foot, modern here in Atlanta. And we have a really different approach on modern in the Southeast because, as you see, we have a ton of trees. This house is up on a hill, and the big concern is privacy because it is like being in a fishbowl without all these trees. So you can go on to the next one. I think I've got a few angles of the exterior. So this was super challenging. When I talk about doing dangerous things with the drone, like I'm in between like tons and tons of branches.
Yeah.
And trees. And I just have to be super mindful and able in order to get these kind of exterior.
Are you standing directly underneath your drone right here?
Pretty much. Like I've crashed a few this year, not gonna lie.
Are you even a drone pilot if you haven't crashed?
The cool thing I really love about this house too is you see under this walkway is this huge mirror, like panels of mirrors that they did to really give that illusion of it being suspended. So you can go on to the next one.
Oops.
Good. Oh yeah, and then this is the back of it, and this was the first time I ever tried like a starry night sky. And I felt like it just set it off the right way. This one was really challenging because the whole back of the house has this huge retaining wall that the pool and the waterfall is built into. So even getting a glimpse of that pool and keeping proportions balanced was really tough. So
where were the trees behind you on the drone for this?
Right behind me, like less than a meter probably.
So this is really as high as you can go before hitting the branches then, right?
Mm-hmm. I could have gone a little higher, maybe.
No.
But start going higher, and then you start to lose the context of that hill. And then the roof line of the house starts to show, which is like these flat roofs on the moderns like this. It's super ugly because they get dirty really quick here in Georgia. Okay, we can keep going.
Wait, go back. There's one thing that I really like about this. You know, that even though you can see the sky, but a lot of times you don't get to. Well, a lot of people don't keep those detail in the trees.
Yeah,
they let that go dark. That's great.
Thank you. Yeah, this is that walkway coming up. Obviously, like golden hour, almost dusk. Getting that light fixture in there. This was just one of those drone shots. Like I was like, I have to grab this. The agent didn't use it, but I really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can keep going. Yep. This I just really wanted to share. This is with the drone. Pretty tough to line up just so. And my lines aren't exactly perfect, but I really wanted to show that continuity all the way through to the back. A cool thing I did with the video on this, and if anybody wants to see it, like you can message me, is I did a really epic day to night transition, flying straight through to the back and then reverse. With this property.
You flew through the house?
Yeah, I flew through this house a good bit, actually.
You got some balls, girlfriend.
Yeah.
You want to hear a funny story? When drones first came out, I had the Phantom, and I had a video shoot at the Panorama Towers here in Vegas. The towers have east and west pocket doors that open up. So I flew the drone on the whatever high floor it was from the outside of the building all the way inside and back out to the west side. It was the craziest thing. It was actually the realtor asked me to do it, and I was like, my fingers were nervous as hell. I got the shot, but oh my God, that was so sketchy.
It's one of those things you got to run it a few times.
Yeah.
But then you have to put your drone in sport mode and just send it.
Yeah.
And I've done that technique on a couple of houses now that I just love it. Like that through and back and getting the day to night transition is always fun. So we can keep on. I love this one. I just feel like it ties all the different parts of this house together. It was up on this staircase that you'll see in the corner. Just one of those things I caught on my way up to the next floor that I was like, oh, okay.
Is this all ambient?
This is, I think, 5 brackets. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Good light.
Yeah. Very good light in this place. This house, I did start, this was kind of the beginning of the year when I was really starting to experiment with flash off camera. So a lot of these in the kitchen, the tighter shots do have a good bit of flash in them. I know I flashed in that back room where the plant is. I flashed this, the front of this front island to make sure that we got that texture and fill in there. And same thing, I think, for the back counters. It's just adding in the flash. Really, most of what I use flash for is texture and color. as of now. But now I'm gonna have to start integrating a scrim so we can go on to the next.
Just one thing on this one. I think you could have turned the head a little bit on the faucet just to appreciate that curve.
You've gotten me a couple of times on that because I have always been this way where I put my faucet straight, and now I'm like starting to see how pretty it is with the curved faucet off to the side.
Especially if, let's say, you were going to license this to somebody, that's something that they'd want to see, is that little bit of that bend. It shows off that feature.
Yeah. Okay, so this one, it's like I could criticize this one to death now because it's been a good 9 months since I shot this, but this is a pretty long focal length. I want to say it's like 50 to 70. I don't remember where, but like I did flash these back rooms where the scullery is, as well as that little mudroom area because we were just completely losing it. This has 2 photos where I have the cabinets closed and the flash isn't there, as well as open here. So yeah. Cool. So we're transitioning back to the living room. This was just a nighttime shot I felt I had to have. You'll see the daytime shot next. Here we go. That light, like built into the fireplace, was really important to the builder, who was very collaborative on this project. I did flash multiple frames in here, including up on that catwalk up there to just kind of get that little chandelier up there to pop and get the texture on the bottom of this floating staircase. This one was fun. I learned a few things in this one, and if you kind of zoom in, I am on that island that you saw in the kitchen earlier, just to get all of this width of this these accordion doors or whatever you want to call them there. So I have a flash pop, as you can see, like to the right of that ceiling fan, just to bring out the texture of those, like, I don't know what you call them, but that pergola, those open and close, and then get some of that like texture and color on the outdoor kitchen area. But I also flashed, if you zoom in on that waterfall, it was really important to me to show the water movement out here. And with the ambient, I just kept losing the droplets of water, and I didn't get the water at all. And this is something I had never done before, but I literally took an 8600 and flashed like 3 different parts of that waterfall to freeze the water movement.
Nice.
Pretty cool behind the scenes photo of me doing that too.
Good job troubleshooting that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the things that was really important. The cool thing about this house too is like it was like a big echo chamber. So when you had this waterfall on, you could hear the sound of the waterfall reverberating through the whole house, which is super peaceful, like a built-in white noise machine. And yeah, this one is, I'm mad I didn't line up that vase with the statue outside. I did it in my video, but this is just pure ambient, good light.
Nice.
And we can keep it moving, ambient again. This one was really fun. The real estate photographer didn't really get anything in here, and I think the art anchors it. That light coming through, like that was an example of like, if you see good light, shoot it, because it was gone 10 minutes later or less. And we can go on. The master bedroom, I didn't shoot like normal real estate photos of because it's a challenging one. So I just shot like a few compositions that were more interiors oriented. I tried really hard to get that fireplace like to show, but that was one of those that the flame was super, super small. So we can keep it on. Yep. And keep going. This is one of my favorites. I love the way this one feels.
What are you at here? What focal length?
I want to say this is like 5.6.
No, but I mean the length.
Oh, focal length. That's definitely 50, if not. It might be, I think it's 50.
Nice.
50 is my favorite, but I've recently become kind of a ninja with a 24 to 70. So This one, I love this bathroom shot. There's a flash in each corner of the shower, as well as a flash a little further back. Actually, no. The stone here, like naturally the ambient was really cool, and I really wanted to bring out the texture and the warmth of this stone that's like all beautiful and like pretty seamless between here. So, yeah.
Did you like the tub?
I don't think I lit the tub. I think I just used what I had from the shower flashes. And the way that I have been flashing is literally I flash into corners, and I bounce light with flash.
I do like the fall off on the tub. It helps sell that shape.
Mm-hmm. I feel like it echoes the shadow on the back wall.
Yeah.
And this one, I just love a good vertical.
Yeah, nice.
Kind of putting that in context. And this will all, like, I'm kind of showing this big gallery because there's a fun bit at the end. We'll keep going until we hit it. This was a lot of styling. The fun part about me being in this house by myself for a couple of days is that I bought margaritas. And I styled margaritas in these little glasses with the limes and the lemons. And then I drank the margaritas while I shot this house.
And see, once you see it now, you're going to always see it. That faucet head, if you just turned it just a little bit, you get that curve.
All right. And we have this one day and night. This waterfall was just like a super important feature of this house. And I absolutely love the sculpture of the woman kind of looking towards that waterfall. And this one, the next one is the one I think they published. Can't remember, but kind of difference in like focal length as well as position of the camera between those two.
So Cheyenne, how do you sell yourself to be able to shoot in the house for more than a day, as opposed to an hour or to run and gun the house?
I kind of, well, first of all, I have amazing relationships with my realtors, and I spend a long time. Like I've probably been working with this agent for 2 or 3 years out of the 4-ish years I've been in business, going on 5. And so this is a spec build, so it's a little easier, but he has this one in particular, and a lot of people I work with now, I've kind of groomed to start to communicate to their sellers, like how important the gallery is, how valuable it is that like they can give me the time and the space, and how much better the photos are going to be, how much more creative they're going to be, and how many more that they're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, this being a vacant spec build, pretty easy to make that happen. But I always like lean on the property. Like this property deserves my attention, like my full attention on it for 2 days.
Yeah, I mean, there's that difference between a real estate photography that is there to catalog the house, where something like this, when we take the time, it's really a portrait of the house.
Mm-hmm. And that's really what I do. Like all of my work is very, people always say like it's kind of emotional because a lot of my heart is put into it. And I think that translates through the photos, but like I care about the houses. Like I love my agents, but like I'm here for the houses.
Absolutely.
Okay, so my question is how are you charging? Are you charging a day rate, or are you charging an image rate, or are you charging, you know what I mean? Like
for that, I charge a day rate. These days, especially, I'll just charge a day rate, which is anywhere from $2,000 to $2,500 a day. And yeah, I mean, if I'm doing a full day of video and a full day of photo, I'm going to charge 2 day rates. Obviously, people that have been with me a long time, they probably get a better deal on it, or I license it to like this builder for free. So like the cool thing, like, is it starts to become a very team effort where the builder's promoting it, the realtor's promoting it, it's getting in publications, the stager promotes it, and we get a ton of cross-pollination. There was a furniture store that like contributed some of this furniture. So we're just kind of getting as much press and publicity on it.
Are you licensing them to all parties? for 1 feet? Or are you
I work with, like, the stagers got these. I work with the stagers a lot. The builder, which this is the builder and his wife, which I have a very good relationship with. He got these. I did end up selling the license to the window company, which was cool. And then my agent, he has free reign to put it in ad placements and stuff. And like, we have a Modern Luxury here that this property was in, and Modern Luxury actually threw a party here that I went to that was a lot of fun. So
okay, so I want to make sure that I'm understanding. You gave it to the builder, you gave it to the stager,
yes.
and
Yes.
you charged the agent the 2-day rates.
Yes.
Okay.
But the agent too is like, he works a lot with this builder now, and I have done a lot of work for this builder now separately. So it was really just kind of gifting that to kind of get the relationship and the connection. And so like, this marketing suite that we did for it, like, the builder was absolutely over the moon with it. He was like, this is the best thing that has ever been done on any of my properties. And yeah, I mean, that just lends to more business for my agent in the future and more brand loyalty. So I'm personally not a huge stickler on the licensing thing. I just always use it as an opportunity to build relationships, get a foot in the door with people. I know a lot of photographers will not like me for saying that, but that's just how I run my business.
Well, some of it too is, I mean, I think you can justify that when you're charging a day rate of $2,500, right? When I'm charging, $200 for a photo shoot, no, I'm not giving them to you. You can pay for those,
For
So
sure.
I think it's a case by case basis. I just wanted to clarify, because there is so many different ways to do business, and I think that as a photographer in this particular industry, I think people underutilize it, and there's so many ways to go about it. But I think you should be educated in that universe. Do you know what I mean?
For sure. And setting those expectations up front with new clients is important, especially as I move into more design and build work. That's been something I'm actively practicing and learning about,
But then again, there's also a reminder that even if you are doing regular real estate photography, just be aware that there are people beyond just the agent that might have interest in the pictures that you take.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of where I always go into any shoot, especially now that I am mostly luxury, being mindful of too. I shoot everything just to the best of my ability, and that's helped grow my business very, very quickly, but it's also because it's my passion. So maybe people are getting a lot of times a lot more than they're paying for, but it's practice for me, and it's helped me grow a lot as an artist. But yeah, so the fun thing with this was I wanted to show this project in particular because the story behind this house was really fun, in that this house was, this is Igor and Bruna. It's a husband-wife team. Igor is the builder. Bruna does a lot of the design stuff. And the fun thing is that they built this house, and it was like his biggest, most ambitious, like, dream project ever, and he's been working on it for like 4 or 5 years now. It's the biggest modern so far that's been listed in Atlanta, or at least at the time it was. And so they had their first child together. Like, she always jokes that like the house, like, they had 2 babies, which was the house and their first child. So you'll see in a minute, like, what we did a couple of weeks after the house shoot is they came in and I took their portraits together independently, as well as their family portraits, which was really fun to kind of combine my love for portraiture with my love for like interiors, architecture, real estate photography. So you can keep going, and you'll kind of see, my verticals are still all perfect in my portraits. Same thing, my horizontals, kind of close to perfect there. So
Cheyenne, do you edit your own images, and do you edit your own videos?
I edit my own portraits. I do not edit my own photos. I do not edit my own videos. My photos, I will put my own polish on at the end and my color grade, if you will. And then I have a really fantastic video editor that works with me out of Florida that, I mean, really is so crucial to my success in the past couple of years. So this is their son, Benjamin, and the rest of them are just family portraits of, I had suggested this to them, seeing them around the house as we were going through this process. And I was like, this house is so like such an important part of your life. Like you've been working on this for years. You had your first child in conjunction with like building this house. And so there's no reason why we should not document you within the house.
Are you using fill on these?
This one, actually, yes, I'm using a softbox, like an Octabox, fairly large one on a lot of these, and some of them are just ambient.
Nice.
Those, if you see it, take it. Just organic, sweet moment, and keep going.
Here's a quick a question from Doug. If you want to take this, Cheyenne. I really don't like taking photos of people. When I have to do it, I do it, and I can make them turn out okay. How do you get so good at taking photos of people?
I like taking pictures of people.
Yeah, I would say that. Like, you gotta like taking pictures of people. You gotta have that in your heart for people. For me, a big thing, you can go to the next one kind of while I talk about this, is like, I don't know, I just really love on folks. Like, while I'm taking their pictures, I'm cheering them on, I'm having a good time, I'm telling her how beautiful she looks, how handsome he looks, like how adorable this baby is. Like, I'm their biggest fan behind the camera.
And I think your energy too, the energy you project reflects onto them, and they become a part of that too. You know, if you're just in there and it's just a job, you're not going to get these smiles and things like that. You got to have that energy when you're shooting people. At least that's what I found.
Yeah, and the posing is a huge part. Like, if you go back to the photo in the kitchen of just them, like, one more. This one, like, the posing is so essential. And there's probably, of this exact pose, like, I probably have 75 photos because I shoot high speed when I'm shooting portraits. So, like, I'm looking for the micro expressions. I'm looking for the real smiles, but I'm also getting like super specific down to the posing, right? Like, I'm tweaking their shoulders ever so much. Like, I'm placing their hands where I want them to be. I'm finessing, like, I'm big on like finessing people's hands and fingers because that's the first thing that gets really weird in portraits. And then it's just like making them laugh to get that real smile. So I get the warmth that hits me right away in the image.
And I would say for Doug, before me even getting into the built world of architecture, real estate, I actually was shooting people, and I had my experimentation with that. So sometimes you just have to try a whole different genre and just give it your all to get that expertise, so you can bring it into these things. Because now, like, because I have some experience with automotive photography, with people, with the built world, I can use all those skills from each of those to make the best looking photo when a situation comes about that I have to bring in, a talent to shoot them and whatnot. So it's a matter of just spending time. It's not going to happen overnight. You got to put a little bit of trial and error to get the comfortable feel of being able to, shoot people.
It's a lot. Like, it takes a lot of practice. It takes knowing your light. It takes knowing how to manage the energy, not getting too like hung up on your gear. This is one of my favorites ever, like, just because of his expression and the way that I composed the three of them. Like, it happened really organically.
Nice.
You keep going. Yep, this one was one I was like, oh, it's so geometrically, like, pleasing. If you see that top right-hand corner, it's just nailed in on the composition, and this is handheld. And I just wanted to put her in there. So this is more of my lifestyle work that this year I have focused a lot on the lifestyle, kind of like Chris, but totally different. Like, I think I have a totally different style than most everyone here. And then this one, I thought this was hilarious because while I was talking to them here, I was like, I'm like, it looks like you're taking him upstairs to make another baby. And lo and behold, she's now pregnant with her second, about to deliver.
Oh my goodness.
And this one too, I just love this one. When I was taking this photo, the one you saw way earlier, the big vertical that had this, I was like, you know, it would be so perfect is if I put a beautiful person right here in this corner of that third window.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, like when I'm shooting stuff like this, like I'm just like you. I will say, oh, I need a person there to capture like the moment.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like if you can integrate portraits within this kind of work, it's a level up, right? Because it's the storytelling element of having a person within that space, then just, I mean, it takes it to a whole new level. So I should really practice.
Say, like the last one, Emma Peter is a big inspiration. Like I'm so far from the level that she operates at, but like I know that all of you are familiar with her work, and it's just I'm constantly striving to find moments like she has in my work. And sometimes, sometimes I get close, and oftentimes I fall short.
Okay.
The thing is just trying, though. Like as long as you keep trying, you're gonna get there. Like if you don't try, you're never gonna get there. Yeah. So it's okay. Just keep at it.
No. Okay. So Doug, if you listen to both Kristine and Cheyenne, when what happens, the hard part about the thing that most people don't realize about portrait photography is you're not taking pictures of a person. It is literally the reflection of the excitement that you have of taking their picture. So both Cheyenne and both Kristine, they're not taking pictures of the person. They're incorporating that person into the picture that they want to create, and they're inviting these people to be part of that picture. So, that's a different dynamic of working with a client. You're not taking their picture. You're creating a picture, and you're inviting them into it, and they feed off the enthusiasm that you have in taking that picture.
Totally agree. I always tell people, don't you dare, hold on, go back one. I'll finish up with this set. I tell people, don't even try to take portraits if you hate it, because it screws it up for me later when I have to cure people's photo trauma.
Yeah. For the longest time, people would come to the studio, and it's like, I'm like, I have to stop and go, you are not going to the dentist. You are coming to a photography studio. I'm here. I'm not going to be in your mouth. I'm not going to be putting needles in your face. So let's enjoy ourselves.
Most people feel about the same way about the dentist as they do about having their photo taken. And it takes 45 minutes to an hour to get them to even get their heads in there, This last one, it's from the same house. So I've done a lot of styling this year, which is one of my favorite things. So this closet she designed, this is the same lady from earlier. Before the family shoot, I literally placed every single one of these items in here. We had a lady that sells very, very, very expensive purses bring all these purses to us to style them in this house, and all these clothing items and everything. Like we went through and I was like, okay, this needs to go here. These are the colors that I want. And then I knew I wanted to put her in there because this is her closet design. So yeah, that's how we made this one. I have a series of ones I did with her on this, but it's not in this gallery.
So guys, what kind of advice can you give to this, to Marietta? She's a new photographer. How can I find a photographer who can coach me in person? I'm a beginner photographer and I need the hands-on experience rather than focus on only online courses and practice alone.
You need to find some workshops, girlfriend, because I have to tell you, okay, let's circle back to the worst thing that I bought this year. And it's not really bad. It's just, I should know myself better that when I buy an online course, the chances of me watching it are about this big. I just don't have time. And so I will get on, we all follow photographers that we really love. And there's some really, really successful photographers who offer workshops. And I think that is probably your key. It's a huge investment in both time and finances, and even just stepping away from your business. But the return on what you purchased is huge. I mean, not only that, now you have contacts that you can go. I mean, I've met Cheyenne in person. I've met Dave in person. I paid Wayne and Fraser to go to workshop. I've paid Wayne twice for workshops. But I also have his phone number, and I say, Wayne, I'm stuck. What do I do? I don't know how to do this time lapse, and I'm going on a spur of the moment. Can you coach me through it? And we're just friends. You need to start looking for online in-person things. PMRE, if you haven't done it, even if you just go for the workshops, it's great.
I'm also sorry, Wayne.
Go ahead. No, I can wait.
I'm a huge proponent of reaching out. I got my start reaching out to photographers that I admired and being super complimentary, asking them, begging them to please like let me shadow them. And I get it on occasion. And sometimes, people they're too busy. There's too much going on that they can't let you shadow them. But I would reach out to 3 to 5 photographers in your area that are doing something. It doesn't even have to be real estate. I feel like real estate or architecture, they're kind of less likely to let you shadow just for like liability purposes and everything of you being on site. But like my first gig was shadowing and doing little lighting assistant work for a bigger commercial photographer here. And it just helped me get an understanding of how professional creatives operate. They taught me how to use Bridge, which my career would be very different if I didn't know how to use Bridge. It's amazing how many photographers don't know how to use Bridge, but I pick up little pieces from everyone here and there.
I think it would really be helpful too if like you watch some of the online courses, some of the, Rich Baum or Nathan Kuhl or something like that, and then just try and emulate that in your own house. There's nothing better than the experience of doing something. And somebody earlier was talking about making mistakes or something like that. There's no better way to learn than to make a mistake, but you have to look at it and go, oh, I didn't do this right, and learn from it. And I think the cheap and easy way to say how to become a better photographer is to say shoot every day. But I think that there is a lot of truth in going out and shooting every day. And my background was as a TV news photographer, and I had to shoot things I didn't want to, or I didn't, but it was always different and it was always unique. And I learned so much doing that because I didn't have control over what I was shooting. I had to shoot something that somebody else told me to shoot. So the more you can do things that are out of your area of expertise, and go ahead and fail, but figure out why you failed, fix it, and then keep shooting.
Yeah, for me, before I even got into photography being a career, when I got my first camera, I was shooting landscape, I was shooting people, I was shooting myself, I was shooting babies, I did weddings, I did cars, I did everything to see what I liked, what I didn't like. And I'm the type of person that puts 200% into everything. So when I do something, even though back then I didn't have any online courses, I didn't have any, I just had online to look at what other people are doing, and I would try to reverse engineer why does their photo look like this or whatnot. So sometimes if you don't have the ability to do a workshop or whatever, still just go out there, take photos, and eventually you'll start to learn and realize like, why is my photo looking like this versus what I'm trying to do this? And, like ask the people who might have that knowledge and just pick their brains and whatnot. But, trying, failing, all that stuff that's a process. Like all of us started from somewhere, and we are where we're at now because of the successes and failures that we had in that journey. So it's just, that's the way it is.
I would say 10 years ago, I invited 5 photographers into a house to come to Carmel to shoot a house, just so they can shoot a house, so we can each see how each other shoots, and it allows me to work with other photographers, and they became very good friends. So what I would suggest is photographers in your area, use one of the listings that you have from one of your agents, invite 2 or 3 other photographers that are in your area and shoot the house. And you can actually see how each other shoots, and you get that kind of direct interaction of how people shoot, because the reason why people shoot the way they do is because they see differently. And the more important thing of technique is to be able to get yourself out of the way you see and see how other people see that same scene. And you will go, oh, I simply did not see that shot. And you want to be able to broaden your vision and broaden your expectations of what your picture could look like. Also, personal projects. You should literally take a house, and instead of shooting it the way you normally do, really take the day. One of the things about Cheyenne and Kristine and Dave and even Fraser, one of the things that allows us to get better is not to be encumbered by time. So just get into a house and take the time to actually set up a shot. Don't take the picture, make the picture. And so, change your point of view by giving yourself a break and giving yourself more time. And and hang out with other photographers in your area.
I like that. Don't take the picture, make the picture. That's a good quote.
I do a ton of making the picture. Like if you saw the kitchen earlier, none of that staging was there before. I took the stager's stuff and I made it what I wanted to be.
Yep.
Yeah. And, when we look at Kristine's pictures, it's kind of like, you kind of gasp how, and you sit there and go, how did you do that? And it's like, no, she created the light. And not only did she create the light, she chose the light. She chose how that light will be directed in that room. So, that it is a different mindset. And again, she needed to take time to do it.
Well, I think just to add on to that, I think you need to figure out what narrative it is that you want to portray, because having a perspective and a point of view is so important when you're creating images and not taking images. Because at the end of the day, you're an artist and you're creating something. Mm-hmm. So you need to be aware of what it is that you're creating. So bring things, take things away, move things around. Look at your light app. Is it going to be better to take this image during the day, or is it going to be better to take this image at night? And if you're creating the image, you have permission to make that choice. So give yourself permission to do it.
There's no right or wrong either, and I think that's something, that like I think Cheyenne said that one of my pictures you would have shot completely differently, and it would have been equally valid and equally good. Or probably better, but there is no right or wrong. And if Cheyenne wins, I don't lose. Cheyenne and I can both win. Kristine and I can both win. There's, it's all about raising all of us up together.
Yeah.
And I think the bottom line is get with other photographers, because people help people.
Yeah.
All right, Cheyenne, you want to talk about this next project?
Yes. So I tried to pick my most unique projects from the year. So what you're about to see is a 1-bedroom apartment. This is, I think it's formerly known as Fulton Cotton Mill Lofts, but we call it colloquially here in Atlanta, the Stacks. For those little stacks, the towers right there. It's a huge apartment complex. And what you're about to see is the tower right here on the right. So these drone photos are some of my favorites. I'm a sucker for natural skies. We can go on to the next one. This is probably my favorite photo I took.
Whoa, look at that lightning.
I will never get this shot again. No other photographer could get this shot. The lightning was right place, right time. It was about to storm. I was probably a little reckless having my drone up at that time. It was probably drizzling just a little bit, but I got this just clicking the shutter at the right time with the lightning going on in the background.
That's awesome.
One of my favorite shots just for how unique it is. Really wanted to get this in context of the crazy city view. And that's our rail line, MARTA here in Atlanta. So that the closeness, the proximity of it is really important. Cool. So you'll see this is a small place. This kitchen was a real challenge. The whole place was a real challenge because it's dark ceiling, dark floors, heavy wood, heavy brick. So there's a lot of flash in here. The next one, I like the light a lot better. Just getting that soft directional light. That's making the shot. There's not a window on the other side of this. Yes, this is real estate. I don't care.
But to notice between the first one and this one, the reason why you like this one is because you lit from the back and you didn't light from the front. And I think that's such a huge component of flipping the switch and taking control of the narrative, light from the back.
Yeah, that perpendicular or that backlighting, I just love so much. All right, we can go to that next one. This is a more typical real estate shot, but this was, you know, a matter of going through, tweaking the stuff that's on the desk right there, making sure that everything is in its proper place. So I have the right context. It's really challenging. I like small spaces because it really challenges my abilities. And to me, I feel like small spaces are a puzzle because there almost is a right answer the smaller the space gets. So we go on to the next one. Cool. So yeah, just showing all the texture in the brick. What you'll see here in a moment is, go on to the next one. This is the only unit like it in Atlanta, and the tower here, I want to say it's like 800 foot up. Yeah, and you'll see the next one. Like, this was just to show kind of context. This is straight up. So this ties directly into the best piece of gear that I purchased this year. Was I finally bought the Arca Swiss Cube. Best purchase I've ever made. I went to Shifter.com. They had a discount code, and I had just shopped the last one that you saw where I was doing a bunch of flash frames, and I had the Manfrotto. And it's really, really sucks when you're tethered to a Cam Ranger on an iPad. You're doing all this flash frame. You're spending 30, 40 minutes on one shot, and ever so slightly, the Manfrotto geared head is just drifting. And so your frames don't line up for post. So that was like the frustration. I went to Shifter.com right after. A lot of people were like, the Cube is awesome. You got to try it. So yes, I spent $1,600, $1,700, $1,800 on the Cube, and it has paid back tenfold. I could not get perfectly lined up, straight up 180 shots like this without the functionality of the Cube. So I've done this kind of ceiling shot quite a lot this year, and
nice.
It's my favorite things. We've got this kind of ceiling detail, and more reckless things with the drone. Shot, going up the middle through those beams that you saw, straight back down. I love a shot like this. Where
what mode are you in?
Sport.
Yeah,
you gotta send it. I love the little disco ball right there. It's so much fun. All these properties you're going to see, I did video on as well. So like I said, you can message me if you want to see the video. Go to the next one. This is lit from that left-hand corner over there. And I really loved it because it gave me the dimensionality on that bed that I want. Funny thing is that the owner is like super OCD. So he spent like 4 hours the night before ironing this bed so it would be perfect for me. And he said he slept on his couch so that he didn't mess up this bed. And I was like, well, thank you very much, because it looks fabulous. All right. Yep, another one. It's lit from that left-hand corner, I believe. Just getting that, like, not the backlight from the camera, but some sort of cross lighting is what I have really learned the most in using lights in my work this year. Continue on. Same thing here. It's lit. I think I flashed inside that shower to get the texture on the stone, and lit off to the left of the camera as well. That's all 80-100, I believe. Next. Yep, and that's that dining room. My window pulls I outsource my editing, so sometimes the window pulls are a little stronger than I like, but we've got next day turnarounds. So the product.
Yeah, and look, at the end of the day, if your clients are happy with it, it's more for your own portfolio. What do you want? If you were to put this on your own portfolio, I would finesse a little bit more to something you're more attracted to. But for a client, I'm sure they'll be happy with this for real estate.
Yeah. Okay, so last project, I've done a ton of work for builders this year. This is one of my biggest builder clients that I was most excited to pick up because I've been seeing his signs all over, wanting to work with him forever. So I got to shoot his family compound on 200 acres. You'll see the house in a second, but this was a shot that I drove up sunrise one morning, and I see, in this bottom right-hand corner, this is the natural shot, natural skies. The mama deer and the baby are right there in that corner. And to me, this is like what I want to start incorporating more into my work is more nature, wildlife, that kind of stuff. Cause I do a lot of cabin work as well. And that's a big part of the lifestyle. So yeah, that moment being there, this is one of my favorite shots I took all year.
It's so funny. If those deers weren't there, you wouldn't realize how big of a hill this is. Like it's so funny. Just by adding that subject, you get that perspective. That
this has got to be 70 millimeters because I think that's the tightest lens I had on me at the time. So yeah,
nice.
This was a huge sweeping hill. And then of course, this is when I'm driving up to the house, way off the beaten path, out on the Alabama-Georgia line, and then this like steam is coming up off of, because it's like cold outside and the pond is warm, and then there's this steam coming off this pond that this builder, he made this pond, he dug this pond himself. There's a really fascinating story behind the cabin that you see tucked in the woods back there. And yeah, this is his black cabin in the woods. This was a unique challenge because this house is literally meant to blend into the woods. So I had to find a way in the color grade and in the edit to make it pop. So this is a lot of playing with my colors, playing with my greens. I still wanted it to feel lush. I didn't want it to feel like a wedding photograph where the greens are just completely desaturated. But I needed to make this cabin pop out where it was at. So that was a lot of masking in there, turning up the contrast, playing with the exposure. And then twilight with the drone. I'm not sure I love the colors coming out, but that could be tweaked a little more for my portfolio. I think it was a little windy, so we've got a little blur in the trees, but yeah, to me, this just puts it in context really nicely. Same thing here. Just wanted to kind of get the glow of the whole house. Knowing now what I do, whatever. I probably would tweak the colors coming out of the house a little bit more looking back at these, but that's that process of constantly revising your work for your portfolio. This is one of my favorite photos.
Nice.
I just missed it by this much because the whole family is having dinner inside at this time. He's got 3 boys that are like running around the place. And I'm like, how perfect would it have been like right between the tree and the post of that first level to have a couple of boys just running there, because that really captured the essence of this space. But this is totally like kind of how it lives. I had to move around a few things. It was a little messy. That's the thing about builders, is builders are a little messy. But
well, you did pay one boy.
Yeah, that's actually one of my assistants, because we actually shot a documentary style interview that day of the builder telling me about his business and just trying out some new things for our business next year. So, and at the moment I really love is this door. I opened that door.
Yeah.
Wanted that door open. I wanted that moment of the boots by the door. To me, this picture has, you can see the little bit of smoke coming out from the fireplace up on the roof line there. So
yes, those details that make the photo nice.
And yes, that is a tripod photo, Doug. This was super challenging on the inside. Oh my goodness, because it's black on black on black. Concrete floors, black wood ceiling, black and gray walls, black kitchen, dark furniture. And then I wanted to draw the eye out to that pond right there. And so, yeah, this was a lot of flash, blending that flash. Thank goodness for my my people that work in post, and then me going back and cleaning up noise because God knows this was super noisy. I staged a lot of this up. I had to take a lot of junk out when we got there to give it the polish that I wanted. And this one I love. I also have a version of one of his sons sitting right there by the fire, like in his swimsuit. He's just like getting warm by the fire. This is when fall was starting to change. So yeah, lighting those candles. I will ask you guys, do you have a good technique for preventing this bloom? Because I get it a lot in stuff like this, like the bloom that's coming off of the candle, the little star, like I don't know what it's called.
You just change your aperture, and you can get a more of a softer, like if you go to like low, if you go really low, you can get it so it doesn't have that starburst.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you just brush it in.
Gotcha. Yeah, that is something I feel like I could improve on here. And then in the top right, like there's just some like weirdness going on with the light because I'm getting it from all over, and low light, it happens the most. Critiquing myself here, going back, I would have smoothed all those little rug tassels, me being very particular, but
you might be able to even generate a fill that too.
Maybe so. I could probably brush it in from another spot even, but. And I actually did. I used a lot of, Doug has a question about noise, getting rid of noise with topaz. I use topaz a lot, especially on stuff like this. This one's really special to me, like a recurring theme throughout the year. And my favorite shots are like moments that mean something to me, not just documentary real estate, like, but like just moments in time that had a story behind it. Those mean the most to me as far as my work goes. So like this was really special. The builder, his 3 sons were there. His mom and dad live on the compound, and what they did was they went and picked all these wildflowers from the wildflower field across the pond, put it in this beautiful arrangement for me. And then he poured a glass, like a bottle of wine. Like this was in the moment. We're about to eat dinner. We were done with the shoot. We're about to eat dinner. He fed us dinner. And this is just so beautiful, the place setting. I was like, hold on, we all need to pause so that I can take this picture. Right.
Nice shot.
This is a moment in time I need to have. So. And this one, I like the angles and the composition of this one. To me, this feels like from the top right corner, like I've kind of got that golden spiral going on and how everything is composed. And I moved everything in this photo to I moved the furniture around to make it how I wanted it to be, to have that energy flow between the furniture.
All right. Good set, Cheyenne. Nice.
Thank you. Sorry, I had so many photos.
No, but it was worth it. I think a lot of people appreciated what you had to say about each of them. So to finish this up, wrapping it all off, my thing for me this year for what I consider to be my favorite projects are, for me, it has to do because getting away from Vegas and seeing something brand new that's just like you just don't get. Like for instance, we got to see Wayne's neck of the wood in Carmel, and we had this beautiful group of people getting to shoot these amazing homes that you just don't get this kind of stuff in Vegas. I remember telling in PMRE at the conference that we don't have this kind of lush forest and these greens and stuff. It's just so when I see things like this, it's like I'm just running around trying to get it as much as I can in camera because I just don't have that opportunity here. So, but on top of that, being with all these amazing people just makes this an even more enjoyable shoot. But as far as the house goes, these were some favorite shots I got to put on my portfolio as well. Even though we were here teaching, I got to get some moments for myself. This was in the mid-afternoon sun, and then we came back at twilight and got this added some light with some hot light to get that directionality coming from the house. These were little moments, just walking around, getting some nice vignettes and compositions of the architecture of the home, along with the beautiful green that's surrounding the property. This is the backyard. Same thing, just just finding moments like what you don't see here is like 25 people running around the inside of this house. So finding the time to get a shot where no one's in the shot, it was also a challenge, but it was fun to have that. This is the interior walking in, the nice 1 point. There were so many just given moments. Like anybody with a camera can set this up and take a beautiful shot. I love the beautiful stream of light here. Just that natural light coming in. Like, look, no flash at all. This is all just, every single one of these photos are, besides the twilight, is all natural lit, ambient brackets. So just having good timing of light makes your job so much easier because you don't have to do so much. Just a matter of finessing it back in post to get some shadows and highlights taken care of, and that's it. Just finding a good composition on site, and that makes your job so much easier. I loved just the feel of these spaces. It was just so enjoyable to capture them.
One of the things that I think that, as we were talking about the pictures, one of the things that we are missing to tell people is each of our favorite pictures or projects actually involve people, and it's actually one of the reasons why these are my favorite projects, is because I got to work with the people that I'm working with.
Yeah,
like Kristine has her favorite designer, and Dave has the airplane people that give him sushi, and Cheyenne with the builder. So you have to kind of include that component into the stuff that you shoot. It's not only what happens is when you're taking real estate pictures, you very rarely get to meet the owner or interact with people on a day-to-day basis. But as to get better, start including the people that design it or have built it, because they can give you insight of what's important to them.
Yeah. And like what Wayne was talking about earlier about just having the time for yourself. Like when we're on site here, besides helping the students, I got to have my own time to just go around and find things. And I was just like looking for these beautiful moments, getting a longer focal length, and finding these just like shadow patterns or vignettes or light streaks and all this kind of stuff. Like I love incorporating this stuff even for my real estate and especially for my commercial clients for architecture and stuff. Finding these vignettes, developing the eye to see these things, making another moment within just a wider shot to find these little moments, I think are priceless for your clients. So I love finding things like this.
Are you doing these handheld?
All these photos are handheld except for the twilight tripod shot.
Yeah, I love that.
So they're all handheld 5 brackets.
Wow.
This one actually was I didn't have my tilt shift at this. I think I was letting somebody borrow it. But what I did is the top of this, where this beam, the horizontal beam was, is kind of where my frame was. And I just I'm sorry. Half of this archway was the frame, and then I just filled the top part of it just so I can have it in the final image. And it is actually what it would look like looking at my previous photos. So it's funny, like sometimes when you don't have the ability to, Photoshop can save you in a pinch and give you still a good looking result.
Dang.
So here's something, as real estate photographers, we take pictures of a kitchen, and Fraser, go back. This is not a good, this particular picture for real estate is not a good real estate picture. You want to tell me why?
Not all the surfaces are lit. Realtors like to see all the surfaces.
It's not that. Okay, so take a look at this kitchen. Although it's a very beautiful kitchen, the burners are on one side, the sinks are on the other. So actually working in this kitchen is maddening. So what happens is when Shelley, the owner, bought this house, she didn't want to go into this house because, every time she's cooking, she has to run around this island to cook dinner. So when we did the actual pictures for the MLS, we they didn't want to show this kind of angle to show the shortcomings of this particular kitchen.
Interesting.
That's what I mean. So there are pretty pictures, and it's a really good picture. But then again, there are times that you have to really understand what the picture is selling, what the picture is for. If it's for a builder, It's the materials. If this was for you, obviously the kitchen designer would not be using this as a picture. So, you have to kind of keep in mind what the picture is for.
Yeah. And then this one's just of the view. Like I just wanted everything in the foreground a little out of focus and just the view completely in focus. So it's just as simple as that. Nothing. And with that telescope being there, I mean, it just sells that little moment right there. This is the backyard. Like I said, you good luck finding something like this in Vegas. Never. This is just freaking amazing. I just wanted to shoot this, so I find a nice little composition showcasing the beautiful arc curves of the cement area, and then just the different levels with that beautiful light streaming in from the top right area. It was just gorgeous.
Also, go back, Fraser. So, we also had like 23 people running around this particular property, and just beyond the trees, there's actually a fence that goes around the property. So I had to remind people a couple of times, especially during dusk, like don't go beyond the fence, because there are wild animals that we don't want you hurt.
Oh my goodness. So that's the first house we had at that workshop, and then the second house was this one, which I also loved. Same thing here. So me and Tony got to go with Wayne to look at this house the day before, and my dumbass forgot my plate for my tripod, so I had no choice but to hand hold all these shots and make it happen. So these next shots here, this one's handheld, but it was beautiful on that's Pebble Beach in the background there. This gorgeous house on the ocean, so nice. Backyard of the house, same thing. This is actually the day of with the students inside. But even though here I did have my tripod, typically most of the time I'm on daytime shoots, I'm handheld for all my exteriors, because you can freeze it in motion very easily, unless for whatever reason I need to light something. But for daytime, it's rare that I'm ever lighting anything. So this is handheld.
Dave, how did you find shooting these houses?
Yeah, you were here, Dave.
Sorry, I had the mute on. You know what? It again was one of those squirrel things, where that, and especially, I mean, this one was really nice. And the thing is, I keep, going back with like Dace or Christopher or some of the other people, and we'll look at each other's pictures, and I'm like, how did I miss that? There was just so much to shoot, and it was so overwhelming. But the previous home, that when you walked in, that thing with 2 yellow chairs, I mean, that
everywhere you looked, there was a composition.
And I felt really good, because that master bedroom shot that you got, Fraser, I got the exact same one with that light streaming in.
Yeah, awesome.
And there, you couldn't do it wrong.
Yep.
It just, and the fun thing was, and what I think benefited us, getting back to somebody's question earlier, you got the feedback from the other people, from Fraser, Wayne, and Tony, as well as Dace and Christopher and Cindy James and all those other people, and it just made you better.
Yep. So this one's actually the previous day scouting. So this was also a 5-bracket handheld. And then this was on the day of the shoot. So that's actually my cousin there. I told him, go ahead and stand there by that telescope, and we'll see if we can add you in here. So this was actually a mix of a little bit of flash to add some directionality of the light, because there was a skylight on the right that was creating a fill, which I didn't like. So by adding flash, I killed that fill so I can get some more shadow on the right side, and then just brush that in with some ambient to kind of finesse this whole thing together. Same one here, just a little bit different composition, showing the ocean and the golf course. Same thing. This one's ambient only, no flash in this one. You don't really need it. I like that the chairs are dark. It sells that the light's coming in from those windows, and just adds that directionality. So there's that one. That was one of them.
Can you go back
Oh, sorry. Which one?
The chairs one.
Chairs. This one.
Yeah. To me, that's just so good at pulling your eyes right out to that view.
Yeah. And this is where also your focus points helps to tell your story. You can lead the eye to what's the most sharpest thing in frame, right? By knowing exactly where to put your area of focus on. So the beginning of the year, this was one of my other shoots I did. This was this was a commercial shoot, retail shoot I did for this client at Karma and Luck. They sell these little trees that they're really, really cool. So they wanted to showcase the store inside the canal shops. This is at the Venetian. And yes, that is a fake sky, but not a sky replacement. They have this fake sky throughout the entire canal shops to make it feel like you're outside. So I didn't want to make that look real. I wanted to look that kind of fake because that is how it is if you're actually walking in there. Here, this was like about 7:30 in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. Otherwise, it was going to be way too many people, tourists walking around. So once I got my compositions, I just set up, had it dialed in, and then each one of these people probably had about 10 photos per person, so I can get the right walking stride to blend them in afterwards in Photoshop. So I wanted that perfect blur, that perfect foot position so that it looks like there's motion, because sometimes their feet would be together, it looks like they're standing. So I took, for every one of these people you see here, they had their own set of images until I've got the right look I wanted for them, and then I brought them into post. Same thing here, just a different composition on the other side. This one was a tilt shift because I wanted to get up higher to show the little bit of that ceiling, and then as well capturing the motion of the people. Now we're inside, grabbing some of the interior. Like I said, with those trees and just showcasing what they're selling in there. A little bit of the architecture of the woodwork. I also licensed this to the mill worker, so they definitely wanted to showcase all these things they built for the store. And just little vignettes you can find. It wasn't difficult to shoot this. Very easy to find compositions throughout. And this is the jewelry area. And yeah, so that was a cool shoot to do. This was in the beginning of the year. And then what else did I have here? And of course, we can't forget this one. This is our Vegas workshop we had this last November. So this, along with just like that Carmel, being around the people, giving back, hearing their stories, getting feedback from people. I mean, just the interaction with everybody was amazing. My client actually gave me this home to use for the workshop. So this is probably, I've shot many homes in Vegas, but I would literally say this home was built for the view. Like they positioned this home exactly to showcase the view, and you're gonna see why. But it was nice. This was an aerial perspective at right when the sun went down. Backyard showcasing the different areas here. It was crazy. The day that I shot this was prior to the workshop. I flew this in 25-mile-an-hour winds to get something usable, and I don't know how I was able to time it, but I was able to get something that doesn't look too blown out, like with the fireplace or the trees moving too much. So I don't know. I guess I just got lucky with not too much motion. Same thing here, just showing off the levels of this home, as well as the third level on the bottom. And now here's what I was talking about. Look at how beautiful that strip is framed within that window right there, right? Like they literally built this home for that view. It was perfect. So this was a tilt shift, actually. This is a lower stitch and a stitch for the top. So I did that together, and I made a nice little square composition here. I think it really showcased that beautiful also stream of light coming in from that top left direction.
Oh, one of the things about this particular shot is a lot of people think that if you just shot this with a very wide angle lens that you can get the same thing, but this was done with a 17, Fraser?
17. It was a 17 tilt on a 1.4 extender, so it's almost like a 24 tilt.
Okay. So yeah, that, so shifting gives you nice balance on the sides. So if you just shot vertically on a wide angle lens, you wouldn't get this stuff on the sides.
Yeah. This was one of the shots. So this one was actually the first one. This one here was all ambient, no flash. This one, because of how dark this kitchen area was lit. So I did light this main kitchen area, but I kept it all justified from the direction of the main light source, which was where those the big pocket windows are. So I let the light direction come in from that way. So it just looks like it's all relatable from in the scene. Same thing here, keeping that directionality the same. So this wasn't scrim like Kristine. This was bouncing from the ceiling and then blending in different parts of this to get the look that I'm looking for. Same thing here. This was an ambient for the outside and then a little bit of flash to sell the directionality, because the ambient alone, it was just way too, there was a lot of light coming in from different directions. I just wanted to say that with this being open, the light is coming from that one direction, and that's why like the backs of these chairs are dark. It just sells that justification of light. Here, very simple 5 bracket ambient. This is just timing it so that you get some detail in the outside area where the trees and all the homes and the view is at, and then just blending it in Photoshop with the interior. So pretty much you have the interior edited, and then you have the exterior as its own thing, and you just mask it in. Very simple. And here's another thing. Like I said, this home was built for the view. This is the pool area, and it's framed perfectly for a nice strip view of that Vegas casinos. Same thing here, and this was actually one of Wayne's shots, but I edited it. Cheyenne, you were talking about that starburst. So if to get rid of that, you could have easily took another shot with a lower aperture, and you could have got a little bit more of just a gradient circle rather than these lines in the starburst. Interior of the just showcasing so actually the front door is where the blue sky is right there. That's the front door. So to walk into this property, you walk in from the top, and then you come downstairs to the main areas of the home. So I wanted to showcase that along with this nice wine area. Here, I'm actually standing on the bar to get the different levels, because obviously standing low, you don't get the separation of the kitchen and the TV island right there. So by standing here, I can show the 3 different levels and see a hint of the kitchen, the island, and that area. So it was one of those shots, just like having the time to experiment. You're able to find things like this rather than rushing. You may even just skip and miss this. Another funny thing about this actually was shot in complete darkness, meaning the exterior. It was already nighttime. There was no blue in the sky. So what I did here is earlier I had a shot of the view with the blue, with the brighter sky, and then I masked it in, and it was a mix of using screen mode and stuff, bringing it in and replacing the view in the windows. And if you notice, do you see how I still have the reflection inside of the glass here? Is because of the blend modes, you're able to still keep the reflection and make it look like it's actually a real thing, because you're using it to blend in with a black that was there from the original image. And here's another beautiful same perspective, but just at twilight, a tilt shift as well, just like in the daytime, of what this looks like. So it's just a different feel rather than that daytime shot. This is I think this is just a 16-35 I shot this on. So I got this. This is the same thing here. It was also a windy day as well. So I got lucky that I was able to freeze some of this stuff enough to make it look close, not so blurry. Another one from the same home. And then other than that, the only other thing that I wanted to show you guys was I went to Washington to do for my uncle's funeral, and this was my first time to Washington. So in many of the areas, this was the worst time to go to a brand new city, because it was the week of graduation for all the schools. So that meant every memorial and monument and everything had floods of people. So I got to go see these places, but I didn't get to shoot anything and like anything because it was just completely crowds of people. This was a church, the basilica that my uncle went to, and I just thought it was just gorgeous. So these are all handheld. They let you shoot it, but you can't use any tripod. So and I got some beautiful shots of this. So this was inside the cathedral or the basilica. This was actually a handheld tilt shift. Wow. So I did a stitch for the bottom and a stitch for the top, but it was all handheld. So I got lucky that I was standing still enough that I can move the tilt shift up and take another shot, and then I use auto align to get it all working. So in Photoshop, but I wanted to show the volume of this space because just one angle by itself wasn't going to do it. Here, this one's like a 24-70, just looking up, showing that beautiful architecture. This one's also was handheld, dark as hell. I think it was 3 brackets here, but now with you guys know the whole new denoise thing in Lightroom, like using a darker image and using denoise, I was able to get perfect non-pixelated looking images that I was able to save because the regular image was so pixelated because of how high the ISO was just to try to get the shot handheld. It was so tough because it was so dark. These are actually in the crypts. This is on the lower level of the basilica. This is another like a church area they have for their masses. Really like this the musical area up there on that second level. So I got that with the beautiful stained glass there. This is that same crypt, just a little bit tighter, handheld, trying to be as still as possible. Little hallway area with some beautiful architecture. And then this is just the one point of the front. I wish I could have had more time to time light, like, because I don't like how much light's in the foreground. I wish it would be a little bit more light coming from towards the camera rather than the side light to give it some more drama. But it is what it is. You can only do so much with what you got when you're in situations like this.
Being that you're at a funeral.
Yeah, that too. Like, why? What are you doing? No, but this was after the funeral. I went back to the church after the funeral to just have a day by myself to shoot it. This was a nice little. I like the pockets of light coming in through the tree, so I just grabbed this. So just a little memory for myself, and then lastly, to finish this whole thing off, is I just wanted to showcase. We talked about my favorite purchase of the year was this thing. We're driving 24/7 all day long up and down the city. So I'm like, man, of course I wanted to get a new car, but I wanted to make sure that what I drive is going to be enjoyable because I love to drive from my house to my projects, and I wanted to get something that I like. And of course I'm a BMW fan, so I got this new BMW this year. And then of course, because I'm a photographer, I went to go shoot it. So this is actually all flash. There's no ambient lighting. Actually, if you look at this, is what it would have been just the ambient shot. Complete darkness. There's no street lights or anything. I found this beautiful hill that overlooks the city underneath, and then I just light painted the house. I put my light on a beauty dish, and I put the modeling lamp on, and I did some sweeps of light over the car, and then I just blend in those layers into Photoshop to get the final result. And then the last image here I want to show you guys is this shot. So I had this shot. I shot this for my client, and we shot this in the afternoon. I mean, in the twilight of a couple months ago. But the home just the view didn't sell, and even though the twilight photos look good, the homeowner was like, "But it's not. That's not what it felt to see this view in the morning." So me talking to the realtor, we decided that they wanted me to come here for sunrise to do this shoot. And I remember talking to Tony. I was like, "Oh my God, I have to wake up at 3:00 in the morning to drive to this property to just wait here in the freezing weather just for sunlight." But he was telling me he's like these are some of his favorite shots, and I never understood what he talked about. But when I was there, I got to tell you, man, it was like nobody in the world existed. I was there by myself for this one moment. It was just like the most peacefulest moment I've ever had in my entire life. Like, just everybody was asleep, and I was there ready to go, getting the shot as the sun was coming above the mountains to get that nice silhouette of that mountain shape. So yeah, this was my last shot of the year that I got to do for my client. That was actually something that was unexpected. I didn't think waking up so early I was going to enjoy doing something like this. But if any of my clients are listening, that doesn't mean you can ask me to do sunrise shots. So this is just a once in a lifetime thing I'm doing. Okay, so get that off. Get it out of your head. But anyway, that is it, guys. We are done. Thank you all so much for being a part of this. I think it was cool. What did you guys think? Did you guys have a good time?
Yeah.
Sure. I love seeing everybody's like different perspectives. Everybody shoots a little different. And that's
and it was so cool. Also the chat, getting to engage and ask questions, because I think there's different levels of photographers out there. And I think from everybody talking, just showcasing their stuff, there's bits and pieces we can all get from each one of us, So I think it was so cool to do this. I definitely want to do more of these, whether it's on this particular subject or not, but just being able to interact and talk to the viewers as well. I mean, I think it's just an informative thing. And for somebody getting into this field, I mean, this is like priceless, like getting to see this stuff and hearing it from you guys' mouths of how you shot it, why you shot it, what it meant to you. I mean, that kind of stuff is just priceless.
Well, I think it's really funny that Chris has got us all buying Westcotts now. So I think that goes a long way to saying how valuable this is. If Cheyenne and I are both on, Amazon right now getting an 8x sent to our houses. $800, Christine. Thanks.
And a big thank you to everybody that's out there watching. I really appreciate you guys watching. But just to wrap this up, why don't we go ahead and give a shout out to our guests here. So let me find So Wayne, why don't you go ahead and let them know where they can find you?
Oh,
on screen. So I have your website, your Facebook, and Instagram, right? Anything else besides that?
That's it. One thing while everybody here, if you're doing Scrim, and you actually can buy just the material and attach it to a larger window. If you don't want to buy the frame is needed, but there are times where, if you just have the material and attach it to the large window, this will work too.
Yep.
Full discretion. I only have one piece of the frame. That's all I use because I don't really need the full 8x8 thing with the gems.
Yeah.
I just attach it and put it on a light stand, so it's a little cheaper.
And
so
then
you
we
just have a bar and hang it.
What's that?
You just have one of the bars and hang.
Yeah, just one of the bars, and then it velcros on, and then I just clamp it. I mean, it's useful to have all of it, but it's not necessary. Just let the scrim flap. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we got Cheyenne's info here. So if anybody wants to see some of her stuff, you can look at her on her Instagram channel, cheyennecrawford.photo. We also got Dave's as well. You can find him at photoslc.com or on Facebook as Dave Coach or Instagram Photo Media Utah and YouTube as well. I know, Dave, you're doing a bunch of YouTube videos too, which is really cool. So you guys can see, for any of you guys out there who want to learn about real estate photography and all the kind of stuff Dave gets into, go check out his YouTube channel. It's kind of fun. And then lastly, we have Kristine here at kkohlphoto.com and Facebook, Kristine Kohl, and kkohlphoto for her Instagram as well. And then for any of you guys out there, I know you guys, somebody was asking about if they can support the stream. If you guys do want to support the stream, you can take a screenshot of this QR code. But I've also put in the description a link to the donations area. So if you guys do want to support the stream, I thank you guys. It's all going to go to help make more of these type of videos. And please, in the comments, if you guys want to see any other kind of guests and stuff, let me know who you guys want me to bring on. I definitely want to make a lot more of these, and I think it'll be fun to continue making these live streams throughout the year. It'll be informative, and besides just photography, I also want to bring on some of the other stuff that I like doing. Obviously, this is called Fraser Live, so it's my interest. So I might be doing like some of my dancing, my pool, other passions I like. So along with just photography. So hopefully you guys can all, and guitar and singing. Exactly, Dave. So hopefully you guys can join me when I put up those videos as well. But until next time, guys, thank you all, everybody, for participating, and I'll see you next time.